Hello and welcome back to Exothermic Plays Games. I'm Exothermic and the date today is Saturday, March 30th, 2024. That means it's the 90th day of ranking my favorite video games through each day of the year. Coming in at number 277 is Diablo Immortal.
Onward and upward.
Diablo Immortal brought the franchise to mobile at a time when people were expecting the Diablo 4 announcement, prompting the BlizzCon audience to boo the presenters at the announcement. "Do you not have phones?" they asked. Turns out that didn't help. Fortunately for Blizzard, they did release the game on PC too. You'll be seeing a mixture of mobile and PC play in this video. Fast forward to a year after its release, and Diablo Immortal had generated almost $500 million in revenue. Evidently, we had phones. Immortal brings most of the core elements of Diablo gameplay to mobile, as you play a relatively traditional fantasy class, fighting the hordes of hell to save humanity. There's 7 classes in Diablo Immortal: Barbarian, Wizard, Necromancer, Demon Hunter, Monk, Crusader, and Blood Knight. Don't worry too much about your choice, as you can daily swap your class around to test everything else out without having to put in the time investment to level up a whole new character. As you level up your character, you earn or upgrade various abilities. There's primary skills, which are your basic attacks with no cooldowns, and then special skills that you can assign to 4 additional buttons, each with their own cooldown. All of the skills being on cooldowns and costing no resources at all makes the game pretty easy to jump in and out of and play on the go with the mobile-friendly design, but I do think it makes for less rewarding and engaging gameplay than having a secondary resource such as mana. There's plenty of gear slots in Immortal, and as you get better and better gear, you'll start to get legendary or set gear that offer unique bonuses, often further modifying your skill loadout. Gear bonuses and your abilities are what define the build for your character, and there's a ton of room to experiment and find something that suits your playstyle the most. Once you hit level 60, you stop earning and upgrading your abilities and start gaining Paragon levels, which continue increasing your base stats, but also give you points to spend on further combat bonuses in a simple talent system. If you don't want to make your own build, there's recommendations that you can just toggle on and you're good to go. All of the gameplay you'll be seeing from me in this video is from my Wizard. The build that I landed on uses various fire attacks to ignite my enemies, and then an arcane wind attack that does massive extra damage if they're already on fire. Since the build has high single target burst damage potential with the bonus damage from the arcane wind, I picked Electrocute, a chaining lightning attack, as my basic attack in order to help deal with groups of weaker enemies a little easier. If you really like your build, but still want to get gear upgrades without having to worry about losing your modifications to your abilities, there's no worries there. One of the strengths of Immortal is the quality of life functions to keep upgrading your gear without having to put a ton of thought into it. Each time you equip a new piece of gear, you can auto-transfer any modifications you made to the previous piece. This includes gems inserted into sockets to add stats, and other upgrades to the gear. Additionally, you can extract the essence from legendary pieces of gear and then imbue them on future gear to change which ability modifier they grant. While I would normally consider the mindlessness of it an issue in a role-playing game, I think it suits the mobile game platform quite well. Much of the gameplay is focused around bounties and rifts. Bounties are small quests that you grab from a bounty board and then go out to do them for small reward. Rifts are where it's really at though, especially as you start wanting to push your character more. There's 2 kinds of rifts, but both rely on a time trial concept, filling a meter by killing things in order to spawn a rift guardian to kill for bonus loot. You also get random modifiers each time you open a rift, usually a mixed bag of good and bad. Regular rifts use keystones to start them, and your rewards will scale with the amount of keystones you put in. Through various means, you can earn legendary keystones that empower your rifts further, increasing the rewards at the end, including giving you legendary gems, which are unique modifiers to your equipment that you can level up by destroying extra legendary gems in the process. The other kind of rift is challenge rifts, which you play in increasing order of difficulty with increasing level of rewards. This is where the real endgame is, trying to push higher and higher with a leaderboard you can compete on as well. There is a storyline in Diablo Immortal, and while I find it pretty lackluster in comparison to the main titles in the series, it is serviceable and gives you an excuse to get out into the world with everyone else. Did I say with everyone else? Yep, This Diablo game is an MMO in disguise, which I personally kind of hate. I prefer my Diablo games to be lonely, single-player ordeals without having to rely on other players to progress. I like having the option to party up if I want to with friends, but the first time I quit this game was because I kept trying to find a group for this story-driven raid that I needed to do, and I just couldn't get people. In fact, now that I've started playing again, in part to record this video, I still can't seem to get people. I queue, 5 minutes go by, nobody joins, and it removes me from the queue. I've tried messaging in various zone or world chats to try to get a group together manually, and nobody ever lends a hand. There's some activity in the PvP scene though, with team-oriented battlegrounds. The issue with those is, let's say I want to play at 11 AM. Turns out, I can't. In fact, there's specific windows that people can do these battlegrounds, and if you happen to be playing outside those windows, sucks to suck, nerd! And then when I do play during the windows they allow people in, sometimes it just bugs out and I can't even load in. And then when it doesn't do that and I do get in to actually do a battleground, I'm put into games with people that have 1,000 more Paragon levels than me, and I basically die to a stiff breeze and do nothing more than tickle them. The idea behind the battleground is actually pretty fun, with one team trying to overtake different objectives on the map and the other team defending the objectives. But as things stand currently, the multiplayer experience in Diablo Immortal took some pretty cool ideas, ran with them, and then made for an awful experience. I mean, just awful. I was starting to get back into the game while recording for this, and then remembered why I quit previously when I went to record all the multiplayer stuff. Ultimately, Diablo Immortal is a top-tier action-adventure game on mobile, pretty mid and kinda soulless on PC, and both experiences are terribly plagued by the multiplayer systems and support. But again, it is really fun on my phone. It's great. I like that. Maybe I'll try to finish the story, who knows. Join me tomorrow as I talk about the 278th game on my list, where I fly in a giant paper airplane.